Brooke Long. I'm with the Des Moines Register, and I'm sitting down with Tim Overton, running for Iowa Senate House.
Hi, Brooke.
Hi. First question I have for you is, who is Tim Overton?
I'm a Republican. I consider myself a family man. And I think I'm someone who believes in what they're doing. And I think Tim Overton is an Iowan.
A lot of the press has talked about you being sort of a new Republican. Can you talk a little bit more about that and how it's important that the Republican Party is becoming more moderate?
Yeah, I think that we've been running on a platform that isn't responsible and doesn't come up with real solutions. I consider myself more Republican than a lot of my compatriots. I believe in a smaller government, and I believe in making the hard decisions to reduce the deficit, solve our domestic and foreign problems, and do what needs to be done.
The Republican Party has kind of ignored women in the past, and you being a new Republican, could you talk a little bit more about why you're focusing so much on women's issues?
I think you're absolutely right. The party's done a pretty good job of alienating half the voting populace by ignoring these social issues. I consider myself more Republican than a lot of my compatriots, and I think something we need to focus on is these women's issues. I have a wife, I have a mother, I have sisters, I have friends and family, and all of them are not being represented by this current government. I think that I can be that voice for women to represent in government.
You discuss supporting education in a variety of ways. What pushes you to be so supportive towards education?
Education is the key to the whole thing. Nothing will change unless we learn, and I think that it's important to educate the next generation in order to better deal with the problems that we have now. If we're not learning, if we're not teaching the next generation, then we can't expect any real progress or growth in this country. And education applies to all issues and every problem that we have. So I think that that's going to be what really makes a change.
Sort of going off the question before that, when you talked about in the debate, I felt like you were talking a lot about bipartisanship and how you work across party lines. Could you talk about why you think that's so important?
Abraham Lincoln once said that a house divided cannot stand. The problem with Congress now is that we've created such a polarized environment that we can't actually get anything through. And we're not doing the real discussion that needs to happen in order to create the best bills possible for the American people. What winds up happening is one side will put up a bill and then it won't get discussed, and it'll go through either with no amendments or with a bunch of earmarks, or it won't go through at all and no change will take place. I think that bipartisanship shouldn't be a virtue one strives for, and I think that it's odd that I'm striving for it. I think that it should be the thing we take for granted, and that needs to change.
Why are you best for Iowa?
Well, I grew up here. I feel like I'm connected to Iowa and the problems that Iowans face. I know that Iowa has a very special role in the federal government, not just through the first caucus of the nation, but we have the benefit of having a political climate in Iowa that is very informed. A lot of educated voters and a lot of important issues that are important to this country are represented here in Iowa through farming and through, well, many other things. But I think I'm right for Iowa because I'm aware of all those issues and I have real solutions and real plans to change these things.
Also, in today's political system, it's pretty clear that the parties are really polarized. So what do you think has been the biggest challenge of being a moderate Republican?
Well, I feel there's a bit of a sentiment amongst other Republicans that I'm not a real Republican, or that I don't represent the ideas that Republicans should represent. And that's pushed me into the moderate position. But I think that we need to look at that and realize that that bipartisanship isn't winning us any battles, and that not only do we need to stand together as a party on a platform that works, but to also look at what the other side of the aisle is doing and maybe take a few of their good ideas, make them our own. I think that's what will give the nation the best solutions.
If you weren't running for Iowa Senate right now, what do you think you'd be doing?
I'd probably be coaching my boys' soccer. I wish that I could do that more. Yeah, I think that's what I'd do.
I feel like in today's political system, it's really difficult for candidates to be really bipartisan, and I really appreciate the fact that you've been pretty positive and haven't made many attacks on her. Could you tell me maybe one or two things that you really respect about Kelly Urbis?
I really respect that she was an educator and continues to educate. I think that that's something that needs to be valued more, and I really respect her for that.
Well, Tim, thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me. It was really great to get to know you a little bit better.
Thank you.